Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking in a video about the new model here we're offering, the S.A.F.E Hunter, and we'll just get right into the good stuff. So this is it right here. I'll just let the pictures do the talking. Okay, so what this is this is the same exact blade profile as the S.A.F.E System 1 blade that I have, which is a hollow handled survival knife. You can see it on my website, or if you follow me on social media or whatever, there's Instagram and Facebook and so forth. So it's a really good clip point blade. It's got a nice straight clip. I typically either do a full flat grind or have kind of like a shoot grind, double hollow ground on the blade. But wanted to do something different this time and do a hidden tang, a non-hollow handle version of the knife. And since the blade profile is such a good all-around utility shape, decided to go ahead and start from there instead of just redesigning everything and or doing, another knife shape and design that someone else has done. Because basically almost all blade shapes have been done, right? There's not a whole lot new when it comes to that. So anyway, this started as a takedown. It actually still is a takedown. We have a pommel bolt right there, a machine screw we can take down. This will come off. It's Loctited in place right now, so it's ready to work. But I did that so that if I wanted to change any of the components of the design later on down the road, that will be available to do so. So now it's basically, it's ready to go. So that doesn't matter anymore. But we got CPM 154 stainless steel on here. Heat treated to, I believe it's 61. I got to double check my paperwork. I've got it written down, the tag, or the certificate. Double hollow ground. We've got stainless guard, blue G10 liners, and we have black canvas micarta for the handle. We crown the spine on this, and what that means is, if you're not familiar, typically on a knife, especially like a survival type knife, the spine is going to have 90-degree corners. So right there at the top, 90 degrees and 90 degrees. And it makes a very sharp, hard corner that you can use for striking a ferro rod, or you can use it for like making scraping on wood to make fire, tinder dust, and so forth. However, since this is designed to be a hybrid hunter utility, and you know what, went ahead and put some tactical elements in there too. I don't really know what a tactical hunter is, but that's kind of what we're going for here. Decided to have a little fun with the design because it's going to get used. So that's the point. Anyway, we crown the spine here and even on the clip a little bit so that whenever you're actually cleaning an animal like this, doing field dressing, and you're getting in there on some detail work, it's not digging into your finger the way a sharp 90-degree corner on that spine would do. So that was the idea there. Left the tip a little thicker than I normally do, and that was on purpose. That's because we've all seen pictures of buck 110 folders, which they do have a thin tip on them. But lots of clip point style hunting knives, the tip winds up snapping off. That's why drop points are very popular as well, one of the reasons. So left the tip a little thicker here and reinforced. That way it's not going to be as likely, especially with the double hollow grind, to break off. So anyway, with the blue G10 liners, we have a stainless steel butt plate on here to protect everything, and that also allows us to bring it all together with the through tang design. So the rest of the edge is quite aggressive. It's not super fine like a chef knife, but this is CPM 154 stainless, very tough steel, especially at this hardness. So it is ground thin enough to cut very aggressively, but also still have some durability if you got to do anything a little heavier with it. As far as the tactical elements, typically on hunters you're going to see a single guard, and that's down here, and that's to protect you. As you're getting in there and doing your business, your hand, sometimes you lose a little bit of feeling because bloody, cold, and usually, a lot of hunting seasons are in the colder months of the year, so you kind of lose some feeling. You need to make sure you don't just slide forward when everything is all slick and messy. You don't typically see a top guard, but I put that on there because of the utility and the tactical component to this knife. So now you can really put your thumb there. The finger groove here is a little large, just a tiny bit larger than usual, so you can kind of come back and choke back, choke down on the knife for putting in for whatever you may need to do when making more power cuts or whatever. So that's kind of the idea on that. Let's get into the sheath. This again with some, I had some minor tactical elements. Let's just discuss the word briefly, tactical. Guys, it's a marketing term. Now, that doesn't mean it's worthless or that everything that's tactical, is a joke or fake or whatever else, but it's just like whenever you go buy a car. If you go up to the dealership and you're like, all right, I need a car, the guy's going to go, well, what do you want? Do you want a truck, an SUV? SUV, I would imagine most people or a lot of people don't use their SUVs for sport and utility. They use them for going to work and back and getting groceries. But SUV is a marketing term that puts it into a category. So if you ask for an SUV, they can point you to that class of vehicles. Same kind of thing here. Tactical design elements, are typically going to be, things like Kydex eyelets, and you're going to have, the tie-down lashing points on a sheath that you might not normally have. On this one, I use the rubber or urethane coated nylon webbing, which I'm going to start incorporating in some of my other knife designs as well. I like this stuff a lot already. It's very stable, and unlike leather, I don't believe it's going to stretch or shrink as much. I've been pretty rough on some of the test pieces, and it has maintained its shape really well. So I like that. So it's leather on the snap strap. If the knife is going to be used, over time it gets stretched out a lot of times, and or it gets cut very easily, and it's a little more difficult to replace. So this is, and especially if it gets wet or sweat on, it can damage the snap strap and it loses some of its structural integrity. This stuff should be immune to that. This is a modular design here, so this can be taken off if you want and changed out for a different style belt loop. This is a sharpening stone pouch. That can be removed as well if you're going to be using it for a day trip or something like that, or you don't think you're going to need that. You can simply remove the hardware and this will come right off. So that'll lighten things up a little bit. We have a lashing point right here, should you need it. Seems unlikely for a knife this size, but it's better to have and need. Or wait a second. Fool me once, won't get fooled again. Texas. Anyways, you know what I mean. We got it, in case you need it. So, let's get into the sharpening stone real quick and I'll let you guys get back to your regularly scheduled programming. This one here went with an upgraded sharpening stone. This is the DC3 by Falkniven. I like this. It's got diamond on one side and ceramic on the other, I believe is how it goes. Either way, it's a dual-sided stone with being very thin. And so you don't have this big, thick, fat stone, which doesn't really work on a sheath of this size. So these are really good stones. They are a little pricier, so that'll be an upgrade charge. These run like anywhere from 25 to 30 bucks, just for the stone, depending on where you get them. So, I can't just absorb that cost, but they are very good stones. Goes in there. Boom, put that down. Everybody loves to hear the snaps and pops on screen. That's good. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's get one more look at the knife, and then I will let you go. So there we have it, the S.A.F.E Hunter. Try and get the handle sculpting. That's one other thing I wanted to mention. I didn't heavily sculpt the handle on this. My experience has been on non-bushcraft knives or non-chef knives, or pretty much on any kind of working knife. I don't really care as much for the heavily sculpted handles. They feel very, very comfortable when you find that sweet spot where your hand just fits perfectly and melds right in there. However, sometimes the heavily sculpted handles, when you're using it in a different grip in that perfect sweet spot, they can be less comfortable. So this has basically some nice smooth sculpting, but there's also some slab side left on here basically, so you can have your thumb really good secure purchase there, and also give you a little bit of rotating ability, like if you're lifting or cutting or separating or whatever else. So that was by design. To me, that's been one of my most comfortable general field knife handle shapes and designs. So there we go. That is it. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll get this one up on the website soon, and then I'll also get pricing and everything else. So, well, yes, and of course, it's marked prototype. I don't know if you'll be able to read that or not. I'm probably holding it upside down. There we go. So, anyway, the S.A.F E Hunter. Have a good day, and thanks for your support.